You're listening to Edge Radio TV. The views and opinions expressed in this program are that of the host or guests, and not the Edge Radio Network or its advertisers or affiliates.
Good morning, moguls. Happy Monday. I pray everyone enjoyed their weekend. It has been a hot weekend, to say the least. And today I'm so excited. I've been following this guy for a little while now. He and his company is so unique. And so help me welcome Chris Thomas with Dominion 126. Good morning, Chris. Your volume. Check your volume. Hello? Give us a second, guys. You know, technology.
That better?
Okay, now we can hear you.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me on.
Yes, thanks for coming. So share with the moguls, with the viewers, exactly what Dominion 126 consists of. What type of company do you provide?
So it's an outdoorsman company, basically. I really want to have something that kind of brought us back away from the technology and the iPads and video games. So Dominion 126 comes from the Bible verse in Genesis 1:26, where God gave us dominion over the fowl of the air and the fish of the sea, and everything that crawleth over the earth. And so I felt like we needed to get back to that spot where we run the earth. So it's about hunter education, firearm instruction, fitness, fishing, camping, anything outdoors wise. That's what we do. We try to help people get educated and get introduced into those areas.
And I loved what attracted me to your public platforms was that you incorporated, which I think is totally so outside the box, but so interesting and exciting. You incorporated fitness and firearm training. And so we'll get into that in the next segment. But I wanted to start off with, I'm assuming I kind of can tell what childhood was like. But tell me, and I have uncles, and I shared that with you before, my dad, uncles that would go hunting, bring back all kind of stuff to eat. We've kind of discussed that. So what was childhood like for Chris?
Yeah, a lot of outdoor stuff. I had a Nintendo system that I didn't play. I was always outside on the street playing, drinking from the water hose. The hunting started around age 11 or so. My uncle got me started, and my mom's brother, and I haven't looked back since. My dad was also a police officer for 38 years.
Okay.
So I was always around firearms, as a little kid. I remember like him coming home from work and we would clean firearms together as like a little kid. He would just show me stuff. So I've been around it, since I was little.
So did you grow up in the city or did you grow up in the country?
Yeah, I grew up in Missouri City. So suburbs, but normal neighborhood, not like living in the country. And then when I went off to college and came back, we ended up moving to Rosharon. So we had a little bit of acreage out there and stuff. So
but I was wondering, I guess your dad being a police officer introduced you to guns for sure. Mm-hmm. I'm from East Texas, and so most of the time you've either shot a gun, even as a girl.
Yeah.
You've had experience with a grandfather or a father having, which is weird because I've only I've only, I guess, shot a shotgun, which is weird, right?
Oh, really?
As a woman, yeah, it's
I
weird.
mean, hey,
But that's
to
just what
me,
they
the
had.
shotgun is like the staple of like the firearm of our black community, though. Like you got to realize,
Yeah, that's true.
um,
Back then, yeah.
for so many years, even like after slavery time, a shotgun was there for killing animals. It was there for
Yep.
defense.
Yes.
I mean, it served so many purposes that I mean, it helped us out as a black community, for
That
years.
makes
So,
sense. I guess that's why that was the norm as it pertains to what type of firearm African American males had back like in the 70s, which is when I was
mhm.
born, and the 80s, being raised in the 80s. I never equated that, but that does make sense because when you see pictures of like the 40s, 50s, 60s, that's usually what they had.
Yeah,
Um, as it
yeah.
pertains to them talking about the KKK and then protecting their property, their homes. So that's interesting. I
Mhm.
never really put those two together, but that's exactly probably what it was. So did you see
Yeah.
yourself having a company one day that was centered around the outdoors lifestyle? What did you see yourself accomplishing as a child? What was your aspiration career wise?
Probably being a police officer, following in my dad's footsteps,
Okay.
also. But I'm still actually in pursuit of that, but in the outdoors way. So, if
Mm,
for those who may not be familiar, a game warden is in the state of Texas the highest ranking law enforcement officer, but they mainly handle the uh, fishing and game laws. But they also, I mean, they can come up to your house, they can pull you over. They don't actually need a warrant on a lot of situations. If they know you've done something
really?
wrong, they can search your house, search your vehicle. So they
Wow.
go into the woods, they get on boats, and they check people who are fishing and hunting. But also I mean, they're all around officer for the state. So
Sound like
I'm
they have
still in
free
pursuit.
range.
Mhm.
Wow, that's interesting. That's something new. I never. So what is that? That's a county position, state position.
Yeah, it's a state position. So just like a state trooper, except instead of being on the highways, you are on. I mean, you're in the woods or in the water, basically.
But you can still pull people over on the
Mhm.
highways.
Yep, yep. So instead of a cruiser like a Charger or a Tahoe, you end up getting a pickup truck.
Okay, I guess that's
Mhm.
why, because you normally don't see that. But I guess maybe you see that probably more when you're driving through your rural areas. Okay, well I
Yeah,
pray
yeah.
that that works out for you. So,
Thank you, thank you.
police officer. Now is your dad still with us?
Yes, yes, yes. He is. So he retired about 3.5 years ago, and
Okay.
he's enjoying retirement, and him and my mom both enjoying retirement.
Okay. So when we come back, I want to talk about what individual you would say inspired or motivated you the most growing up. Who kind of gave you that umph that you needed, which we talk about a lot in our community. Sometimes children lack that reinforcement of self confidence. So I want to discuss that when we come back. Who is that? I kind of can guess who I think it is.
Yeah, it's definitely between. I guess it's gonna be my dad and my uncle, definitely, because they gave me the firearm side and the hunting side and the fishing side. All of it. So
Okay,
yeah,
so we'll
between
talk
those
about
two.
that as soon as we come back. All right, moguls, I'm here with Chris Thomas with Dominion 126. We're going to delve into that person that motivated him, or persons that motivated him and kind of gave him that self confidence. And now he, remember, has his own outdoors company, which includes the firearm training. And I can't wait until get to that women, all the women that are watching, which is the majority of the viewers, because he has something very special that he's incorporated with his training with women. All right, we'll be right back in just a few.
Hey y'all, I'm Robin B.
And I'm Dr. Kiva.
And we just want to know
how you living?
Join us every Monday
at noon Central Standard Time
here on Edge Radio TV. Take care.
When people stop talking to each other, society is on the edge. Let's bring them back. Edge Radio, because truth still matters.
All right, Mogul, so we are back with Chris Thomas with the company Dominion 126. And so, Chris, okay, I can see you now. So, tell us, your dad, you already mentioned that your dad and your, your dad, the Heat guys, your dad and your uncle were the two individuals who motivated you and I guess gave you your experience with firearms and the outdoors life. So expound on that a bit. I know your dad was a police officer, so that was a firearm piece. And I guess your uncle too, because you had guns outdoors.
Well, so my uncle was actually in education. He started out as a teacher, became a principal at Jackie Yates, and then was assistant superintendent.
Wow.
So but he just loved the outdoors. He started when he was like the same age when I started, probably like 10,
Wow.
in hunting. So with
so who would he go with? Your grandfather?
He would go with my grandfather, and just that whole side of the family. There was a lot of cousins and everybody who lived in Bay City and down close to the border, like Corpus and different areas. That's what they do. They just they love being in the outdoors. They love hunting and fishing and all that.
Okay.
So, if I take what my uncle gave me, with the education piece, just seeing a black man in a powerful position, work his way up. He went to TSU as undergrad, then went to Ohio State to get his master's.
Wow.
He ended up, like I said, teacher, principal at Jack Yates, and then ended up being assistant superintendent.
Wow.
When Rod Page was there. Are you from Houston? I don't know if you know.
Yeah.
Rod Page. So when we had Rod Page, he was the assistant superintendent there. But
that's amazing.
As far as outdoors, he asked me if I'd be interested in hunting. I was like, heck yeah, and we just, he got me introduced, and man, like I said, I've never turned back. With my dad, it was also the fishing thing. I remember catching my first fish at like 4 years old.
Wow.
And we were out fishing at night, and one of them things where like I was sleeping in the car on the way down and sleep on the way back. But definitely enjoyed the actual experience. And then seeing my dad, stay in a career so long, becoming a sergeant, and overcoming a lot of racism in the police department, because it's all it's
it is
there.
What it is.
And seeing him overcome a lot of that to get to a powerful position, and just experience some great stories and life lessons and
That's
experiences
amazing.
through them.
And then your parents are still together?
Yes, parents still together.
Now, is that where because I really, really have to say I admire that on social media you're not afraid, and I'm the same way. You're not afraid of sharing scripture, your thoughts on things that may not be, now we're dealing with being canceled and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
And you've definitely incorporated that with your persona, with your brand, as it pertains to what I've seen, in the public eye, like social media, which you share on your stories. Now, did that foundation come from your dad and mom as well?
Oh yeah, definitely. Always grew up in church, had a few experiences where faith was really, really tested, especially with my mom being diagnosed with cancer, and
Okay.
just
Sorry to hear that.
at a young, I think I was in either middle school or high school, middle school, when that was a diagnosis. My dad's been through cancer, my uncle that I mentioned has
Wow.
been through
Both
cancer,
parents.
and
Wow.
all of them are, they're still here, not with no issues, completely healed.
Thank
So
God. Thank
definitely
God.
the faith thing comes from that foundation of the family, being together, and going to church, but not just going to church, but having that actual relationship. And it's going on to me and my wife now, our little
Yes.
girl who's just born. But
Yes. And we're going to get to that, to parenthood. That's going to be our last segment. I can't wait to hear what's
oh
that
yeah,
been like being a new parent.
oh yeah,
So,
yeah.
when did you decide, okay, you know what? I'm going to start this business outdoors, and specifically the firearms training. And you're unique because being a woman, you don't really see, I've never really seen, you're the first company actually that has a specialty and a focus on women.
hmm
It's Queen's training. Am I correct?
Yeah, so sometimes we'll do a Queen's defense course, and then sometimes we'll do
Yeah.
the Queen's fitness and pistol course also.
Okay, so what inspired you to finally start your company? Was it a conversation? Was it that you saw
Um,
a need in the
Definitely
industry?
saw a need, because I felt, as I mentioned before, if God gave us dominion on the earth, why are we not more attached to it? And
Yes.
with the advancement in technology and everything, it seems like we're getting further and further away of knowing how to survive off the land, in a sense.
Yes.
And so, uh, what I saw was, and what really made me think about it back in like maybe like 2006 or 7, was, I think we had a hurricane, and I started looking at how people were struggling.
Yes.
You if you take away electricity, air condition, the ability to go to the store, people don't know what to do. They just kind of, and it's not their fault necessarily, but even if you don't do it as a, like me, it's fun, it's a hobby. So even
Yeah.
if you don't do it every week or every day, where you go fishing, where you go hunting or something like that, at least learn those skills, so that way you can, in emergency, be able to survive. Because there's a lot of looting that happens, or sometimes it's so flooded I can't get to a store even if they are open, or I don't drive a truck, so I can't drive through this water and things like that. So, it's just, I saw the need, because I felt that, man, if we're going to be able to survive and have dominion, we can't rely on man or the government to help us out, in that sense. So I was like, man, it's something as simple as, if I got a fishing rod in the garage and it floods, guess what? I can go to the creek and grab a fish, and I can supply some food for my family. Same thing with a deer or a hog, if I had to eat that, whatever. So, that's where I really saw the need, is that people have gotten away from being able to live in the outdoors.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Do you have, I'm sure you have more men that do the outdoors part than you do women,
hmm
correct? The women kind of focus on the pistol training. So what has that
Yeah.
been like working with women, having a specialty with women?
So, with the specialty, it's cool. It's just a lot of, the reason I really had to start doing a separate class for the women is because, a lot of women, like, if I just go ask a group of 10 women right now, do you want to come train firearms with guys? A lot of them are going to say no. Probably at least 8 or 9 of them out of that 10 is going to say no. And the reason is sometimes it might be intimidating, or guys, being a little chauvinistic and cocky,
Keep the camera on.
because, oh, I've been shooting guns for forever, and they end up, having that, oh man, I'm not that great at shooting, and this guy's over here. And so you kind of have to separate the two. Now, I do have some women, man, they're going to get out there and they're going to run that gun, just like the dudes and not care. But you kind of have to do the separate thing just so they can feel comfortable and not be in such I guess, a macho setting with some of these guys who are like, fully tactical out, with the vest and the gun belts and the camo. So being able to give women a place where they can freely, learn without being concerned with anybody else. That's kind of where we got, that going, that little women's queens classes.
Okay, so can you give the moguls some examples of some services that you provide?
So everything from basic to advanced training, and when we're talking about basic is I've never shot a gun before, help me figure out what gun works for me, and also, when we go to advanced to moving and shooting, we have 3 vehicles at the range, so we teach people how to shoot in a vehicle, out of a vehicle, around a vehicle, because we all drive, and so especially lately, if you watch the news, you'll see a lot of carjackings happen, and so we teach people, and even at the gas station, right? Sometimes you'll be pumping gas, somebody comes up on you with a gun, and they try to rob you, they take your car. So how do you defend yourself there? So we do the vehicle classes, dynamic courses, which is moving and shooting or moving to cover and shooting. I do low light courses, which is how to shoot in the dark with very little light, excuse me, or having, a flashlight on your pistol or even a handheld light. And then also the Queen's courses, which is the fitness course, and also the defense course, where you learn some hand-to-hand work and also learn, how to use a firearm.
Okay, so when we come back, I want to delve a little bit into the balancing of the career, the business, as well as being a leader of a family, your wife, and then you have a newbie. Congrats again. I know that has to be exciting and probably even altered a little bit of your perceptive. Usually when you become a parent, you're even more enlightened. And so I definitely wanted to discuss that when we come back, as well as what are some of your aspirations? Where do you see your company going in the next year to 3 to 5 years from now? So let's discuss that as soon as we come back. All right, we'll be right back in a few.
We work our whole lives to support our families. With one accident or illness, it can all be gone in an instant. Now there's a smart, affordable way to protect your family. Go to findhealthbenefits.com and discover low-cost life insurance for as little as $2 per month. Add to that a tax-deferred annuity that can help you protect your assets and grow your money for retirement. Learn more. Go to findhealthbenefits.com or call 877-235-6094. A critical illness can strike without warning and wipe out your life savings. In fact, it's the #1 reason for bankruptcy. Find Health Benefits offers an affordable solution. Get up to $50,000 if you get cancer, stroke, or a heart attack, giving you the peace of mind to focus on getting better while the plan helps you to pay your bills and medical expenses. Learn more. Go to findhealthbenefits.com or call 877-235-6094. 66% of seniors spend more time shopping for cable TV than Medicare plans. Most say because it's just too confusing. Laws change every year. The wrong plan could cost you thousands and prevent you from seeing the doctors you want. Introducing FindHealthBenefits.com. Save time, save money, see specialists without referrals. Go to FindHealthBenefits.com or call 877-235-6094 for this informative brochure.
Society is on the edge. Let's bring them back. Edge Radio, because truth still matters.
Edge Radio TV is holding auditions for new show hosts. Are you a subject matter expert, professional, influencer, book author, thought leader, or business owner with an educational or motivational platform? Then we want to meet you. Send a link of some of your work to edgeradio20@gmail.com and be sure to put audition in the subject line. Join the Edge Radio TV family. Edge TV, because truth still matters.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition, liftoff.
Don't push me because I'm close to the edge.
I'm trying not to lose my head.
Hey, this is the Talk About Unity show where I bring the talk.
And I bring the unity.
And together we talk about unity. Unity is what matters.
Come on.
And right now in our country, that's what we've got to do. So we do that here at Talk About Unity on the Edge Radio Network. Be with us every week.
It's going to be awesome. It always is. And I tell you what, the more we seek first to understand, then be understood, we make progress.
And we like to do that. And that's why everybody's on the brink. We love what we do at Edge Radio because everybody's on the edge. We bring them back from the edge and we bring the unity. So we're just glad. Edge Radio Network every Tuesday morning, 10 a.m. Talk about unity because here at Edge Radio Network, truth still matters.
All right, Mogul, so we are back with Chris Thomas and his company, Dominion 126. And we know it's an outdoors company, which includes the hunting, the lifestyle, survival, firearm. And so, interesting, because you talked about the survival. So do you train in other aspects of survival? So like how you were saying the hurricane happened, or is it just the hunting and the fishing?
Well, yeah, we've done some, I guess, a survival class that gives you an all-around, if you had to live in the woods type situation,
okay.
and what stuff to have, right? So, we tell people about hunting and cleaning an animal. We tell them, how to catch a fish, clean a fish, what supplies needed in both of those arenas. Also, starting fires, how to stay warm, how to stay dry, build a shelter. Because a lot of people they've never done it, So try to impart and put that into people's brains as much as possible because it's just stuff you never done. You might see it on TV. It might be a cool movie where you see somebody, living out in the woods, but if everything just went crazy one day, what are we gonna do? How are we gonna survive? How are you gonna make it?
Especially us you have millions that are in the city limits, so you're not near the woods, or so your mindset is not even, thinking that direction. So let me ask you, what has it been like with balancing career life and home life, especially with the newborn, being a new parent? Has your work ethic changed? Probably got even more intense now. You have another human being to take care of, to manage. So what has that been like? What has been different?
So I guess, people always say you're not gonna get a lot of sleep. I'm gonna tell you now, I didn't get a lot of sleep already. So the fact that now, it's just, instead of me getting 4 hours when I think I'm gonna get 4 hours, I get 4 hours of sleep at a different moment. So my life basically consists of naps anyway. So that part hasn't really done much. But being cognizant of you're raising a little human, and you have to be responsible for how this person is going to be put into the world one day. You're releasing somebody back into the world, and hopefully that they leave the world a better place than, what it is. And so, yes, definitely want to get out there and do more work, run more hunts, and,
Yes.
do more classes and get more clients, just so I can take care of that little one and the wife. And it's just, it wakes you up, when it's two people working and no kids, it's like, okay, we got
Yeah,
this.
you
But now,
kind of move and flow how you want, but
yeah, but now, you got to
plan.
plan everything out. You got to get up an hour earlier to get the
Yep.
baby ready, and all that. You got to pack an extra bag just for all the extra stuff that could happen. So, it's no different from how I think you should live is, being prepared all the time.
Yeah.
If you stay ready, you're going to have to get ready. So, when I leave the house before, I have like first aid kit in the truck, a firearm on me, flashlights, knife, extra waters in the vehicle, just in case.
Yeah, just
I've
in
been
case something
stranded
happens.
before, where it took somebody like 8 hours to come get me, but I was okay.
wow.
I had guns, I had
You got
food, and
everything
I
you
had
needed.
water,
So let me ask you,
So-
are you still in school now? Because I know you said you were aspiring to be a game officer.
Yeah. So with that, basically, I've got 2 classes left, and I'm done with
Oh, awesome.
my bachelor's
Congrats.
degree. And then with the game warden, it's basically a regular police academy, except you have to live in Austin for 7 months for that process, because it's kind of like military style. You stay in barracks and things like that. So it's
That's
going to
gonna be
interesting.
hard.
Yeah, definitely. So you do get to come home on weekends, right?
Oh, okay. So it's just like working on the week and then being okay.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
different. I thought
So-
you meant the entire
Oh,
7
no,
months
no,
being
no, no.
away from your
Yeah,
family,
yeah,
like the military. Okay. So that you're gonna go into, I guess, the end of this year or next year.
Yeah, so application process is opening up, I believe October, and like once you're selected, you go in, and it would be probably like January, February when everything gets started and kicked off.
Okay. Now, what's the percentage? I'm assuming there are not that many African Americans.
There isn't, and that's the issue. Like, so that's another thing. Like, if you've seen my page, there's a young man named Jaden that hangs out with me, and I've kind of like, I guess, brought him into my business to teach him about he used to hunt when he was little, but
You're kind of
not, like, on
mentoring.
an extreme level. Yeah,
Okay.
so mentoring and trying to help him. He's also wanting to be a game warden, because in the state, let's say if there's 600 game wardens, there's probably only 10 that are black.
Out of 600?
Yeah, out of 600.
Wow. That is
So
crazy.
it's definitely been an issue with
Wow.
getting enough brown and black people in that industry.
Do you think it's a lack of knowledge? Because I've never heard.
Yeah, well, it's that too, and then the fact that most of us don't like the police, right? So,
Well, that's true.
you may see a regular street cop, because everybody sees a street cop, right?
That's true.
But also, it is lack of knowledge. Nobody realizes what a game warden does or who they are. So when you're approached by them, you're kind of confused. So a lot of times their truck will say state police, so people know,
Oh,
who
okay.
they are and things
So we've
like
probably
that.
seen a game warden, but we were thinking it was just a regular state
Maybe a
police.
regular cop. Mm-hmm.
Regular cop, not realizing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, it's definitely a lack of us. So it's a good thing that kind of helps me out being African American.
Yeah.
And then when you talk about women in the game wardens, it's probably about the same number, maybe 10 to 12.
I was
right
gonna
now.
say, I'm sure less. It's probably less than at the amount of African Americans.
Yeah.
So let me ask you: are you gonna come with your company? Are you training others to come and kind of take over certain aspects of the company? Or are you gonna still be? Because right now you are hands-on.
Yeah, definitely.
You're the man when it comes to.
Yeah. and that's one thing that Jaden, he's actually been running some of the hunts for me.
Okay.
Because while my wife was pregnant, it was, I didn't want to leave, especially towards the end, in case she went into labor for anything and be an hour or 2 hours away.
No.
So he would actually take clients hunting for me. So that aspect is, I feel I can trust him with the hunting portion. With the firearms training, with me during the whole process of the academy, with me being able to come home on weekends, maybe I'll pick like one weekend out of the month where I'll do a big class, and the rest of the weekends, be focused on family. But another thing is, once you graduate, they can place you anywhere in the state for your first year. So I could be down on the border, I could be in North Texas, I could be East Texas. So we may find ourselves moving for a year, just not sure just yet.
Okay, so then you'll just have to train someone else to take over the pistol and the firearm part. And you do have a couple of other people, right? They kind of work with you.
Carl works with me. He has his own business though, but we both use the same range and property. So, definitely. And I've got plenty of people in the industry I would recommend in a heartbeat that I trust to train people with the same vigor and tenacity and excitement and passion that I would.
Okay. All right. When we come back, I want to talk about, where do you see your company, I guess, in career as well, because now you're going to have to kind of have a partnership of the two.
Yeah.
Especially, like you're saying, they can place you anywhere in the state for the first year. But where do you see your company going a year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now? Will you be adding more services, taking some away, kind of cultivating some things? Are there some innovative ideas you already have in the works? So let's discuss that when we come back. Where do you see Dominion 126 moving forward? All right, we'll be right back in just a few.
The Natural Nation Network is really about taking control of your health physically, spiritually, emotionally, even intellectually, because there's so much out there in misinformation. There's a lot of people now that are suffering from all sorts of diseases that they really wouldn't have to suffer for if they had better information. And that's what we're here to do. Provide information that can save lives.
The mind and the body are totally connected.
Health can be really serious, and sometimes we just have to lighten it up a little bit while we're still providing substantive information.
And my sort of mantra on the salsa dance floor is kind of similar. I tell somebody, if you make a mistake twice, it becomes a move. Okay.
Tune into Natural Nation every Tuesday at 11 a.m.
When people stop talking to each other, society is on the edge. Let's bring them back. Edge Radio, because truth still matters.
All right, moguls, we are back with Chris with his company Dominion 126. And so, once again, guys, I feel like it's a very unique outside of the box company because I have never seen, and I could be wrong, but I've never seen a firearm, especially company, that incorporates fitness with firearm instruction. And I love that you have the outdoors. I was telling some friends of mine that you have situations that are real life situations. For example, me being a real estate agent, I carry specific protection, but I have it around my wrist because realistically, if somebody attacks you from behind, I don't have time to go grab a purse, right, to get to my firearm. And I think a lot of times when you're just going to a traditional standard range and just shooting at a target that's not moving, you're not moving, it's not as realistic of what type of situations you'll be in. So I do appreciate that about the company. So are you going to take away certain services, keep those services, add different services? What do you see new or innovative as it pertains to ideas with the company?
Definitely want to add more stuff. So add more vehicles that aren't as shot up as they are now. Because you know they've got a few thousand rounds through the vehicles we have at the range now. But then also add a house. And we actually did build like a 4-room home out at the range, like no roof or anything, but just to show you how to clear a home. Like if you come home and your door's kicked in, you know your family's inside or should be inside. You know, what do? I'm not waiting for 911 if I believe my wife and child are inside and could be hurt or endangered. You know, I'm going in my house. So there's certain ways you should do it and how you shouldn't do it. So I do want to rebuild that house and make it a little bit better. When you have cows and horses on property, they tend to mess things up. And we didn't account for that. So they kind of damaged that house, but gonna build something and put a fence around it this time. But
I love that. I love that idea.
Mm-hmm. And I definitely want to actually get my own property. So right now we're using a friend's property and you know, we're leasing a section of land from her. But I want to get my own range set up the way I want and actually have it to where other African American instructors don't have to go to other people's ranges and pay these crazy amounts to run a class. I want to be able to offer them a cheap like bay rate, so you get this whole area where you can teach your class and it can probably fit 12 students or so and not have to hit you in your pocket so heavily, because there's no other like that I know of black owned ranges. And when you go to the other guys, they are typically charging you, you know, if you have a class of 10, you might end up paying maybe $200 to $300 to rent that space for the day. So, you know, I want to be able to have that where, you know, it's just as nice as their property, you know, from the driveway in to the buildings to the berms to the target stands, everything. I want it to be on a whole nother level.
So do you feel like that's one of your passions and missions? It seems as though, now will it ever be equality in all the industries? I don't know. But that seems like it's one of your purposes and missions is to kind of educate, inform, and kind of be that forefront person within your industry, to make it just a little bit easier for African Americans or minorities, regardless of, I guess, ethnicities. To have a better stakehold in your specific industry.
Definitely. I want to help everybody out. Like, I have people who reach out to me. I've got a guy who's been following me. He wanted to become an instructor in Philadelphia. I've got guys in New Orleans that they'll reach out to me. And like, when I think about it, at the end of the day, I don't care what the world says, there's no shortage. There's money for everybody out here. There's plenty of customers for everybody. And at the end of the
Yes.
day, you don't have to worry about somebody taking your spot. If you keep doing what you're supposed to be doing, if you keep grinding, if you keep working hard, there's going to be people who are attracted to your specific uh, way of teaching, your style,
Yes.
and they may train with you, and they may go train with another buddy next time. But guess what? They may come back to you, and you shouldn't be afraid of losing customers by helping other people out. So I've never been one of those people who like, oh man, I can't tell you my secrets. Like I have no problem telling you this is the way I do
I
this.
love it.
You
I
should
love it.
add this to your your drills. This is how you should do blah blah blah. So definitely, I feel that there's a lot of people who need to step up in this industry because majority of the instructors are white in the industry, and if we could get more brown and black faces in the industry, that'd be amazing. And also female instructors. We don't have enough of
Yes.
those.
So would you like to bring on a woman to help train with your queen and pistols and
Yeah, that would be cool because so we have Antonique who does the fitness portion of it. So she's kind of in charge of doing that work because when you have so many people, like sometimes we'll have a class of 24, it's hard for me to run the shooting portion and the fitness portion. So she runs the fitness portion. But being able to have a woman's mindset, because I can only tell you shooting scenarios from the outside looking in. But if you actually have a woman who has maybe experienced a situation where she's been confronted by, somebody trying to rob her or, intimidate her, it's a different mindset that she can offer to the table. So definitely would like to have a woman instructor on the team that could offer that expertise, from a woman's viewpoint.
So what advice would you give a woman if she is being attacked? What's your basic advice?
So if you don't have a firearm or some tool to use, whether it's pepper spray, there's little daggers you could, put on your keychain, a knife, whatever. Just don't stop fighting. At the end of the day, most of these people are cowards and they don't want a fight. They want to be able to come and do something, whether it's kidnap you or rob you. They want it to be easy and get out of the way. Scream, kick, punch, fight, scratch eyes, whatever you got to do because your life depends on it. So now, if you do have a firearm, train with it. You do have a knife, train with it. Learn how to use it in a way that could save your life, because a lot of people go buy a firearm, it sits in a purse, it sits in a car, it sits in the nightstand, and they don't pick it up and actually use it and be prepared for a situation. So when the situation comes around, sometimes you can be more harmful to yourself or others than do any good. So I definitely say train as much as possible. I know right now, not everybody may have the finances dealing with COVID and maybe losing jobs or whatever it may be, but if you can afford it, get out there and train as much as possible. Learn some hand-to-hand techniques, learn some defensive techniques, how to break holes, where to hit somebody. On a guy, if you hit them below the waist, that's one of the best areas to get free. But also if somebody came and grabbed you in a chokehold, how to get out of that. But definitely, at the end of the day, fight, fight, fight. Don't make it easy for this person to win. Deshaun? Hey, Sean, you there? I don't know if you can hear me or not. Sure.